Hello, fans. Autistic Explorer back. Um, Yesterday, I was at a Christmas festival in Huntington. I was waiting on a friend to go out to dinner. Well, two friends to go out to dinner with that night, and I just happened to have seen it taking place on Wall Street. And I told you I wanted to talk to you about why we celebrate National Down Syndrome Month and National Down Syndrome Day. Um, which actually is considered, which actually is classified as National Down Syndrome, no, World Down Syndrome Day. Sorry. World Down Syndrome Day falls on March 21st. National National Down Syndrome Month falls on October. Now, I want to read to you some information I looked up. One of the reasons why we have to when you have friends or family members who have Down syndrome, that you should honor them and wish them a happy Down syndrome day, national a World Down Syndrome Month. I'm sorry, and National Down Syndrome Month. Wait, I'm sorry. No, I can't speak today. World Down Syndrome Day and National Down Syndrome Month. All right, you ready? First one. What is Down syndrome? Question mark. Down syndrome is a genetic condition that is uh, caused by a mild significant physical and development problem. People with Down syndrome are born with an extra chromosome, something like. Chromosomes are bundles and genetic and genes, and your body relies on having just the right number of them. Um, the right number of them. With Down syndrome, this extra chromosome hold on, it just with Down syndrome, this extra chromosome leads to a range of issues that affect you with both mentally and physically. Down syndrome is named after a guy named, I didn't even know this, but I'm reading it now. A guy named John Langdon. A guy named John Langdon. A guy named John Langdon down an English doctor. He's so in other words, in England, it people it's more likely you're going to find people with disabilities in England and Down syndrome too. But anyway, let's concentrate. Um, John Langdon Down, an English doctor who was the first person to publish an accurate description of the condition in 1860. The 1860s. I don't know exactly it doesn't tell you the exact month. Um, Down syndrome. Here's the next one. Down syndrome is one of the most common types of illegal. Why did I say that? No, intelligent. Let me read that again. Sorry. Down syndrome is one of the most common types of intelligent. I didn't I couldn't read that. I thought it said illegal for a second there. It's intelligence. Types of intelligental disabilities encourages in about one in every 691 births. People with Down syndrome have similar, ready? similar dreams and goals as everyone else. In other words, everyone else regardless. And they can distribute to society in many ways. All right, so National Down Syndrome Awareness Month. That's here we go. That's what's called National Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And yep, it tells you it's on October. To raise awareness of Down syndrome and to promote the acceptance and inclusion of people with the condition, the National Down Syndrome Society began the month in the 1980s. So it's become a big deal in the 1980s. The World the World Down Syndrome Day is a celebration on March 21st each year. So we want to try and do this, okay? We want to try and honor those people in your family, and you know, suppose you have friends who have Down syndrome. You know, you might want to wish them a happy Down syndrome month, a happy National Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and National World Down Syndrome World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. All right, because it's like one of the first. You know, it's become a big deal in the 1980s. You know, these people have a chromosome. Chromosome is like a disease that they have. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure exactly what the story is behind it, but it's a chromosome is like a. It's like a disease that they develop. And you know, they despite the problems that they have, okay, they develop intelligence automatically, like everyone else, and it's very like it's very big, okay. That's why we have autism awareness. We'll talk about that on my next chat video. In fact, we talked about it a little bit on one of my videos from last year or the year before that. Anyway, we'll talk about why we celebrate Autism Awareness Month. But you know, Down syndrome is, you know, people who are autistic. You have people who are autistic who have Down syndrome too, and it doesn't matter. They celebrate this. You know, it's all the same. They have the same intelligence as everyone else. You know, however, let's go back to that again. I have like information I looked up about it, and I keep it with me to get it right for you guys, so that you guys get it too. I'll read it again. Down syndrome is a genetic condition that's caused, it's mild, okay? Mild to significant physical and developmental problems. So developmental problems, they sometimes have developmental problems, even like the autism do. People with Down syndrome are born with an extra chromosome. So an extra chromosome, it's like a, you know, I guess it's a disability as far as I know, but chromosome, but it actually tells you right here however, chromosomes are bundle of genes, a bundle of genes, and your body relies on having the right number of them. With Down syndrome, this extra chromosome leads to a range of issues that affect your that affect you both mentally and physically. Down syndrome is again named after John Langdon Down, an English director who was the first person to publish an accurate publish publish an accurate description of it back in the 1860s, and that's during the 1860s. That's during the Civil War. We're talking history now. Um, Down syndrome is one of the most common of intelligent in until yeah intel intellusional disabilities, intellectual, in other words, intellectual disabilities. It occurs in one in every 691 births. So one out of probably that amount of numbers of people have it. Um, People with Down syndrome have similar dreams, you know, similar dreams like we have, and you know, just about everybody has. And they're no different. They're really no different. I've seen some. I actually began to have. I actually haven't happened to have looked it up, and I saw the very first flight attendant at the airport with my phone's going off. I never saw it in person, but I did see actual like photos taken of the very first woman with Down syndrome who was a flight attendant at the very first flight attendant with Down syndrome at, I don't know what airport it was, but she put herself out there, and she's a flight attendant. I don't know. I think she's a flight attendant on the airplane. Now, the comments I saw, well, people with Down syndrome should never fly an airplane. Well, I personally disagree with it, because I think anybody, as long as you can put your mind to knowing how to be a pilot, I think anybody can be anything. And I don't care what anybody says. We can be anything, no matter what. And if you have friends or family members who have Down syndrome, I'm for their sake, not my sake, not anyone else's, their sake, please honor them on National Down Syndrome Awareness Month and World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st. And yeah, so on March 21st and October. I think the month of October. I think there's no specific date, because it's a month, not a day, not a month, and not an actual date. But on National Down Syndrome Awareness Month on October, wish them a happy autism. Wish them a happy National Down Syndrome Awareness Month on the month of October, and on the month and date of March 21st. Wish all your friends and families who have Down syndrome a happy World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. Okay? World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st. Because, I just read it all to you. There's a reason why, and that all tells you why. And it's sad, but there's but despite what it affects, I want you to understand that it doesn't affect whatsoever what their capabilities can be and what their capabilities are. I've already seen plenty of star athletes who have Down syndrome, and I just discovered recently, a year ago, a year ago, 2023, the very first the very first flight attendant who had Down syndrome, and she did it. She knew what she was doing. She didn't care what anyone said. She didn't care about her Down syndrome. She did it, and she could get promoted to something higher up. And I hope she does, and I hope she succeeds and does well. And you all should hope that too. Okay? So wake up and smell the hot chocolate. It's all in front of you, okay? If you want me to say, I'm gonna post some information. I'm gonna post my information on it, on the where all the comments are, where you can post stuff on YouTube, pictures, if you will. I'm gonna post pictures of all the real actual information I looked up, so you can read it. You can reread it all for yourself on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube video. Okay, so please do that. It's there. It's all done for. It was created for a reason. This guy John from England. He discovered it himself, and he was the first person to publish it. And he was English. He probably, for all I know, had Down syndrome himself, and that's probably why he did it. And the UK, there's a lot of people with disabilities down there too, including the United States. In the UK, it's bigger though. It's bigger. People with ADHD, you name it. Anyway, National Down Syndrome Month, and World Down Syndrome Day. World Down Syndrome Day is on March 21st. So honor your folks, friends or family family or friends, it doesn't matter, cousins, even acquaintances. Even if you don't know them, maybe you might want to do that. But especially if you do know them. Like if it was your wife, or if it was your fiance, or if it was your girlfriend or boyfriend, or honor that person with Down syndrome on World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st, and National Down Syndrome Awareness Month on October. Okay? For their sake, and maybe for your sake too, because you know what they say about nice people who do that stuff. Especially if you have autism and you want people even like them to honor you on Autism Awareness Month. I'm gonna make my next YouTube video on that one. So, I have a few friends who are Down syndrome, and let me tell you, they're very high functioning, and they are capable of anything. I know some who are martial artists, who have gone to college and are now working decent jobs. Who are star athletes, and they've come a long way. They've come a long way, and they've been honored on National Down Syndrome Awareness Month on October, and World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st. And it really, because of that, it lifted, and this is why, and this is the reason why they've they've been lifted up to become star athletes, and this is exactly why they become star athletes. And you know, the first person with Down syndrome to do a job that is big, to do something big with their lives, become flight attendants. The first flight attendant, with Down syndrome. I mean, it all comes down to the respect, the respect of their community, the Down syndrome community. You know what I'm saying? And that respect is when they get honored, simply by um, simply by by being wished a happy Down syndrome, a happy National Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and a happy National Down Syndrome, a happy World Down Syndrome Month, day on March 21st, and a happy National Down Syndrome Awareness Month on October. They, on those 2 months, they get wished a happy National Down Syndrome Awareness, and a happy World Down Syndrome Day. And month two. And the reason why is because it's the right thing to do, and it helps lift them up. It's you actually lifting them up and giving them the power to be what they have always wanted to be, and giving them that courage, character, and a heart that's true. And those of you who have Down syndrome, I hope things stay like that, so that you all can get what you all deserve. And you deserve to be honored on those two times. Okay. October, National Down Syndrome Awareness Month. March 21st, National or World Down Syndrome Awareness. World Down Syndrome Awareness Day, March 21st. Okay? On March 21st and on the month of October, wish them a happy both National Down Syndrome Awareness Month and World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. Okay? And wake up and realize that that they can, that because they have this this chromosome thing going on with, this chromosome, what I'm saying, disease. That's why we have a thing. That's why we have a thing called National Down Syndrome Awareness Month and World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. That's why we help celebrate and wish them those things, so that they can stay lifted up and active. Give them the strength and the power simply by making them feel honored for it. That way, and that'll take their mental challenge away, and give them that strength to become what they want to become. The first flight attendant that I discovered with Down syndrome, the first star athletes with Down syndrome, moving forward, and it's the most common. It's one of the most common things that happened, especially in the disabled community. So please make it happen. wish, honor them. Wish them a happy National Down Syndrome Awareness National Down Syndrome Awareness Month on October, and wish them a happy World Down Syndrome Month on March 21st. That way they don't have to feel like maybe they're, that way they don't have to feel like they're less than everyone else because of their chromosome, their Down syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Give them something to feel proud of themselves for, because that's what you want. You want them to feel proud of of who they are and what they are. You know what I'm saying? So anyway. All right. Well, Autistic Explorer out. Stay tuned for my next video.